Palantir had another absolutely fantastic day. As a matter of fact, many artificial intelligence companies had another very, very fantastic day. I made a video yesterday after the Federal Open Market Committee, and I says, look, you can buy, you can sell, you can do nothing, or you could just put your money in a very lucrative SoFi savings account or in Robinhood. Or you can push into this dip. Everybody prays for a dip, and then when the dip comes, you'll do fucking nothing. And then you cry when the price goes back up. Palantir had another beautiful day. Palantir is up. There was an interview by Dan Ives. He's a very famous tech investor. I'm trying to get him on I'm an Investing show. And he was actually talking about AI and how AI is the new gold rush, how AI is the new revolution. I'm going to play you this clip in a little bit. But before I do, I've been saying this for quite a while on this channel. AI industry right now is worth a couple of $100 billion. The estimates is between 100 billion and 400 billion, depending on what statistics you're looking at. Palantir was named the best artificial intelligence company compared to Microsoft and Google and Amazon, so on and so forth. There was a chart about it. There's a chart circulating about it. This is in 2021 or 22, if I'm not mistaken. That's where the chart is coming from. Palantir was always an artificial intelligence company. Palantir's artificial intelligence property and artificial intelligence capabilities is just now in full effect. Palantir, named by a lot of analysts right now, is the new kill kid on the block. So we have several $100 billion TAM right now, total addressable market. If you go by Statistica, that TAM by 2030, guys, by 2030, we're talking about 6.5, 7 years from now, not even a decade, by 2030, they're estimating that the total addressable market for artificial intelligence is going to be around 1.8 trillion. I did a video like this a couple of months ago, and that number was 1.6 trillion. It now went up to 1.8 trillion. ARK Invest came out, and they're saying that their number for 2030 for total addressable market for artificial intelligence is 14 trillion. And believe it or not, ARK Invest does not even have the largest estimate. If you go to PwC, which is one of the big four accounting firms, this is PwC, right? It's not like Adam Bergman Incorporated. This is a huge, huge accredited company that everybody knows globally, came out to say that the 2030 total addressable market for artificial intelligence will be 15.7 trillion freaking dollars. That is absolutely bonkers and amazing all at the same time. You see, if you go to Google Trends and you compare AI to Bitcoin, artificial intelligence is absolutely smacking Bitcoin. And this is just in the United States. Take a look at the chart worldwide. As you can see, it does not slow down. Artificial intelligence is more trending than Bitcoin was at one of the heights of Bitcoin. We're talking about right post-COVID or right in the heart of COVID when everybody and their mamas was buying Bitcoin. And artificial intelligence is surpassing that in trends. The best thing about the artificial intelligence Google Trends, both the United States and worldwide, even more so worldwide actually, is it literally went like this, it gave up, and now it's going back up, okay? So the actual trends, the actual interest in artificial intelligence, it's not going anywhere. In a moment, I will play you a clip from Dan Ives. Dan Ives is talking about artificial intelligence is the new gold rush. His words, not mine, but I 100% agree with him. He talks about primary and secondary opportunities to invest in artificial intelligence. Obviously, you have companies like Microsoft, Google, AMD, NVIDIA. But he also, by name, mentions Palantir. I'm trying to get him on the show, and I wanted to give a huge, huge, huge shout out, and please give this man a follow, to Keith Fitzgerald. The guy is a CNBC contributor, answered my tweet, came on the show. He's one of the people. He is one of us. I'm trying to contact other people. They don't even get back to me. How about that? That's how much respect I have for Keith. So please, if you have not followed Keith yet, please make sure to follow this man because he is a Palantir bull before it was cool to be a Palantir bull. Artificial intelligence is not going anywhere. If you want to call AI a bubble, that's fine. But let's just get one thing fucking straight right now because you guys seem to be walking crooked and I need you guys to walk straight. Straight. 1, 2, 1, 2, like the mother effing military. Shout out to the military. Even if this is a bubble, bubbles don't pop right away. Bubbles grow over years. Over years. If you believe crypto was a bubble, well, that bubble is essentially still growing. Bitcoin was trading at sub pennies, and even now, it's still trading at 25K. The best producing asset ever, period. Housing bubble that almost collapsed the entire world. That lasted like 10 years, guys. 10 freaking years. And any of these bubbles last a good 5 to 10 years. And if AI is a new bubble, we're literally in first inning. We're not even in the game yet. We're literally just stretching like, I'm about to get up to bat. You understand what I mean? We're not even in the first freaking inning. That's how early we are in AI. That's if you believe in the thesis. I don't believe AI is a bubble. I think literally there's going to be some winners and some losers. Fewer winners than losers. But the companies that actually have the goods, like Palantir, will do so good in the future because its market cap is still quite small. At a 30-something billion valuation, it's still tiny. It's not 100 billion, it's not 200, 300, 400, 500, so on and so forth. We're not talking about an NVIDIA, we're not talking about an AMD. And I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with what's going to happen for earnings. Not next earnings, but I think earnings 3 and earnings quarter 4 is going to absolutely knock it out of the park. Please do me a favor, watch the rest of this video. This is going to be a 4 or 5 minute interview with Dan Ives talking about the AI gold rush. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, so on and so forth, I think you should definitely listen to this twice. Before you go any further, as always, if you want to become a channel member, I have a link down below. It's $3. YouTube takes $1. I'm left with $2, which lets me buy not 1, but 2 Poland Springs. But then again, I shop at discounts, so by giving me a channel membership, I will get 3 Poland Springs for your $3 donation. And if you don't want to donate, that's all fine and dandy. All jokes aside, please follow me on Twitter. I will have a link to my Twitter down below. Also, I will have a link to Keith's Twitter down below. And I will also have a link to Jesse's Twitter down below. If you guys don't know who Jesse is, Jesse came out of nowhere and he is absolutely knocking it out of the park with his options plays. I give him as much credit as possible because unlike all these other fugazi-ass people on YouTube who take credit for other people's work, I take credit for my own hard work, but I also give credit when it is not my credit to take. Jesse has been knocking it out of the park with Palantir, SoFi, and currently PayPal, Square, and Hood. Follow him on Twitter. You guys will be very, very happy to follow this man on Twitter. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Joining us now is some more insight, Wedbush Securities Managing Director and Senior Equity Research Analyst, Dan Ives. Dan, no doubt, and you wrote an article, research report, Disruptive Technology, Can Tech Go Higher? Yes, as the AI revolution takes hold and the Fed waves the white flag. But has it all been priced in, I guess is the question.
No, it's a great question. I mean, I view it as more of a 1995 moment than a 1999.
Okay, that gave us 4 more years.
And look, because ultimately, really, from a transformational technology, I think it's the biggest thing that I've seen going back to mid-90s. And I think the ripple impact, we're just starting to see. First derivative, Microsoft, NVIDIA. But the second, third, fourth derivative is we start to see across software, across consumer, digital transformation and chips. I think it's just starting, which is, in my opinion, still a green light to own these names because of what I view as really a market that's just starting to take hold.
NVIDIA, I don't want to use the M word, monopoly, but NVIDIA doesn't have a monopoly in AI chips, but man, it's got a huge chunk, right?
They're the only game in town.
Okay, so that said, you just heard Dan Niles maybe recommended Intel. Like, I don't know if ever, there goes the phone. I'm gonna need a new phone, Dan, by the way, by Apple. So is there any other player out there that we are missing, that we are whiffing? Or is it just like, oh, everybody's NVIDIA, right? Like
Sure.
to me, that says there's got to be somebody we're not paying attention to.
Yeah, and clearly when you look at AMD, and I think Lisa Su talked about, I think that's good from a chip perspective. But on software, look, Microsoft, I still think that we are in what's happened in Redmond, just really the second, third inning of this all playing out. I believe it's an $800 billion incremental market.
Because of their investment
because
in ChatGPT's parent company.
Because of ChatGPT and all of our survey work, and what we've seen is that 35 to 40% of all of the cloud spending potentially now incrementally could be spent on AI. That's massive when it comes to names like Microsoft, Salesforce.com, Snowflake.
Or Oracle's up 40%. But okay, now we've all played around with ChatGPT, right? Like it's cool, right? Write the show for me tonight. Write a segment on AI. I had him write a poem about New Jersey once, and it was actually really good. It came out like 2 seconds. I'm terrified, but it just feels like a toy right now.
Total. And I think to most consumers, and that's maybe the initial reaction, I think the golden goose, it's the enterprise. I mean, what's really happening on the enterprise, and you saw it, you've seen it with NVIDIA, but you're seeing it really take place globally. It's starting with Microsoft on hyperscale in terms of cloud. But what's really happening is companies now, from a use case perspective, you're seeing now potentially 20, 30, 40% growth that wasn't there. That's why Accenture is hiring 80,000 AI-focused employees.
I know, but I do remember, we're old enough to remember 95. And of course, the internet comes out, it's AOL, then it's Netscape, and it's like HTTP : all this stuff. And then you look at, it's going to change the world. And it did, but we had to go through a bloodletting beforehand, right? A lot of people made a lot of money if they sold at the right time, but then got destroyed. And is there any semblance of tech bubble-ish to the AI craze?
So in my opinion, we've talked about it, I believe there could clearly be names that have froth, but ultimately I view it as really the start of a 1995 moment. In other words, I think from a hype perspective, this is not a hype cycle. And I think we saw that with NVIDIA in terms of the guidance. I could tell you, especially, being in Asia the last, month, and in terms of what we've seen around the globe in terms of our enterprise checks, we're starting what's really going to be a gold rush in terms of AI. That's why, in my opinion, you look at names, even some of the pure play names like a Palantir. I would argue Tesla is more and more what's happening there is an AI-driven play that's starting to happen. So in my opinion, it's just the start.
Well, and hopefully you were in Asia, the US can own this. Although, given the way it's going, they'll probably be like Chinese AI and then our AI.
But because of Redmond, Microsoft, that's really the key.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.